You goddamn motherfucking right, nigga. Hey, what's up, y'all? We're coming back. The 1528 podcast. We are so happy to be back. We took a couple of weeks off, but we're back. And what's up, fellas? How y'all been?
All right, let's do this again.
I mean, aside from that random outburst, I'm pretty good.
That's what's up.
I'm pretty good aside from that random outburst. Really enjoyed ourselves last week when we became bourbon aficionados unofficially.
Absolutely.
Bang.
Absolutely.
All we needed was cigars. It would have been all right.
Shit, Gant had the cigars. Y'all missed them.
He
It was
did.
there.
I didn't have none. But other than the trip, how do you guys feel? I know, unfortunately, our brother Sid couldn't make it. He had shit going on with the new job and everything. Responsibilities, exactly.
Grown ass man.
How was your week and a half, sir?
Adulting and shit.
Right, being responsible and shit.
That was a cool weekend. It actually, like everybody's saying, it felt like Monday. Today felt like Tuesday, like a month, because I had a really good weekend. My Monday was cool. Everything was good. So I've just been hanging out with my son, and I got back in the gym today. My body's still trying to decide whether it wants to throw up or not. So that's where we are right now.
Hey, man, you and me both, because I'm getting back on my fitness regime. Well, partly because I went to the doctor right before the trip, and she said, lose some weight because you borderline pre-diabetic, and I got to go back in a week.
Yeah. Surprising. Shocking.
Right. Where did that come from?
Borderline my ass.
I did 4 miles.
2 feet
today.
in.
I did 4 miles today right before we got here. Got home, 8.
How long? Wait, you did
4
what?
miles. 4 miles. And
It doesn't count if it's on the train.
I'm ready to die.
You know what I'm saying?
Bitch, it wasn't.
Right,
Uber and back does not count, nigga.
Exactly. Right, and
No.
two damn stops down the subway doesn't count as exercise.
Those fucking scooters are not for that.
You never know
My
whose
shit-
turn is going to be. Somebody's
my
always going to
shit
get roasted in the
counts
check-in.
This nigga talking about I did 4
My
miles.
shit counting steps. Just because BJ put on 40 pounds during the RV tour.
Hey, y'all was
Wait,
looking
niggas-
at Hey,
don't bring that fat
hey,
shit to me.
let me say this. The pictures I saw
lost my
y'all
shit.
when y'all was out there tasting this bourbon, y'all looked a little thick.
Thick as fuck. Exactly.
Y'all looked
Exactly.
a little
And that's,
If-
and
if
that's
we
why
could've-
I'm getting my shit right. I don't know about any of these other niggas, but I just did 4
That's
miles.
why we need to get
today.
this
I'm
guy
not claiming
strip
4
going.
miles. I know how I look. I'm not claiming 4 miles off of that. Like,
No.
Back up.
why would I do that?
Not gonna
Why would I
happen.
do that? I ain't
But I
gonna
know
lie
I
to these
can
people
lose
like
weight
that.
way faster than your ass. That shit. This is what we're not.
I
gonna
mean,
lose.
we'll see because
Challenge.
coming off now.
You bulimic ass niggas.
Hey, we need to set a guys trip so then we can, we have a goal. So when's the next guys trip? I mean, I want to go back to Vegas
So-
for my birthday, but that's already in November, so we got to have one before that.
We're not doing New Orleans?
New Orleans.
We can't
should
go
be
during hurricane
docket.
season. Last time we planned it during hurricane season.
No, last time we planned it was Memorial Day.
Wasn't it hurricane
It was-
season?
Who knows?
It wasn't Memorial Day. I thought it was in June.
It was.
So June 5th, but it's
Yeah.
the week after Memorial. It would have been, a year from today, basically.
Oh, well, let's get it. We need to, yeah. Y'all need some motivation.
So June,
Yeah.
July, August, September.
Yeah, we'll figure that out when it's off air.
Look, we out here planning the whole
These
trip.
fat niggas get in shape.
Get in
They got
shape.
Get
Fat niggas can go in
beignets,
the gym
fucking
and be like
coffee.
me and said. Of course, we talking about losing weight. You talking about beignets, you fat fuck.
You got that right. Because by the time we get there, I'm gonna be slim trim and ready for
Dude, be
beignets.
weird. They're weirdly good. Beignets are weirdly good. They
Oh,
really
they're
are.
delicious.
It's like
I just wouldn't bring them up when we're talking about losing weight.
right.
That's
What is
because
this?
your fat ass can't lose weight.
Beignets.
It's basically like
Beignets.
a
Yeah, I
yeah.
drop weight easily when I try.
It's like sugar bread.
Your stomach don't say so. You don't drop shit. Nigga, the only thing that drops is that baby in your goddamn belly is dropping. You look like you 8.5 months. What is that?
So, fuck the
30
topic
way more,
today.
and you weigh more
30
than me.
weeks?
Fuck
Is
the
that
topic.
30 weeks?
But you bigger than me. So what you saying?
I weigh more, sure. Because
Y'all niggas
muscle
need
Can we
to-
weight.
educate the people today?
If y'all
Muscle
gonna,
weighs
educate the
more.
people
if y'all
today?
gonna
That's
if y'all
why.
gonna stay thick, y'all gotta learn your angles like these chicks do on social media. You gotta take all
Muscle
aerial
weighs
pictures
more.
from the top.
Fuck that. Fuck that.
You gotta
You
take
gonna
all
see all
aerial.
this. You gonna see all this.
You gotta when you stand in the group, you gotta hide half your
The
body behind the
angles.
person next to you.
And my shirt's gonna be extra small.
Don't you hate it every
Shit.
time you see a chick on social media? This, all right.
What be killing me though is when they be like,
No,
No,
they be
don't
like,
put yourself out there.
Nah,
I
no,
am.
what be killing
Every
me though.
profile picture got like 3 people in it, and you never know which one the person is. Like if you meet a girl, everyone, it'd be 3 of them in it. Like, which one is she? Is she cute?
But
what'd be crazy?
What'd be crazy is that they want you to love all of them, but they don't love all of them. Why don't you put all of you on Facebook then? Why we only get your neck up? Why we only get your neck up? Anyway, that's not the topic.
Nigga.
That's not the topic.
Talk to that nigga in the comments, people.
How can I love all of you if you don't love all of you?
Hey. I am not engaging in this conversation right now.
No, this is good. Because it's them.
Exactly. You can email said at
CedriceB@gmail.com. Holla at your boy. Send all hate mail to CedriceB.
Sign this nigga up for everything spam.
All the spam.
All the
spam gets.
If you disagree with what he said,
right.
spam his account tomorrow.
Right.
You know I love
Sign nigga up for every newsletter.
I don't even see spam. It goes straight to spam.
All of
them.
And all.
If you don't recognize you, go straight
And all.
to spam.
All sizes and colors.
Just curious, do we have a topic today?
You're a hater. And yes.
Dre, you know what happens when we get off the air for too long? We come back and ain't got no sense.
Yeah, I ain't talked to y'all collectively in 2 weeks. So.
Exactly.
Right.
This is
Let us
all
get it
y'all
out,
can
Dre.
up.
Just edit it. He's like, nope.
Right.
Fuck no, I'm going to sleep. They gonna get everything this week. I'm
All
going
of
to
this.
bed. Yeah,
All right, BJ, take us in, man.
All right, let's go. I'm glad you guys had a good week. We had a little break and everything.
Oh yeah, and Rose just left New York. Shout out Rose. We kicked it.
Shout out.
Got some stories to tell that we can't tell. So
on air.
I guess they'll go to the grave.
Rose Renee out there kicking in the BK, pimping, and all that other shit. Anyway, episode 14 here for the 1528 podcast. Episode 14 of the second season, the Duecey season. Question number 1. What makes someone toxic or bad? Or what makes someone a toxic or bad mother in your gentleman's opinion?
Oh, I'll go first because my shit quick, and I ain't gonna have a lot of personal experience like some other people might. So, for me, what makes somebody
Shots fired.
Oh no, it ain't shots. It's just personal experiences are
Right.
outweigh mine. Yeah, right. What makes somebody a toxic mother to me is when a female does something that's in the detriment of the child for their own personal either benefit or
satisfaction.
Satisfaction. So like it's a lot of instances of that, but I just see it way too many times where people are doing things that impact their child, but they're not considering their child. They're considering their own motherfucking shits and giggles and laugh and joke her and fuck this nigga and fuck that nigga. So I feel like those decisions to me are toxic. I don't think it's necessarily the same as like being a bad parent. Some people just don't know what's right and wrong and they're kind of learning as they go. Mm-hmm. But the toxic shit is when they know it's fucked up, but they do it anyway. And that shit pisses me off to see that.
But I would say this in defense of a toxic mother or whatever. Sometimes I think it's motivated by their own pain too, and they don't know how to. I know it doesn't matter. I'm not giving it an excuse. But what I'm saying is, it's
a cause. There's other causes for it.
They don't understand how to filter it out in order to make it about the child. They're still toxic. They're still
arrogant ignorance.
Bang! I like that. Yes.
Yeah, fuck whatever you call it.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever you call it.
For sure, but I don't think it's always about like I'm doing this just because I want to make this person's life miserable. Sometimes they literally don't know how to filter it out and be an adult about the situation. And
I get that.
No, I don't think it's ever unintentional. If they're trying to make your life hell, they're doing it on purpose. There's no accidental. Use this child as a pawn.
I get what
in my
BJ's
opinion.
saying.
I mean, that's your perspective,
like,
so I'm not going to counter it.
I will
for sure.
So I get what you're saying in terms of like what leads up to it, but at the same time, when it's toxic, they know that it's negatively impacting the child, and as the caregiver, even if you don't know how to do something right, it's your responsibility to figure it out. Yep. Because it's not about you, it's about them. So that's a shit excuse to me, and it's just lazy parenting and people who are too selfish to actually consider their child first.
I'm glad you said that, Dre, because that segues into what I want to say. Plus, you got an echo.
Yeah, I do hear your echo now.
Yeah, I asked you about that earlier.
We didn't
It
hear
wasn't there earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you always hear somebody say, I'll do anything for my child. I'll do anything for my child. I'll go hungry. I'll take the shirt off my back. So, and I believe that. I believe a lot of people would do anything for their child except get over themselves, because it really takes you to get over yourself and consider the best interest of your kid. And when you can't do that, that's when you become a toxic parent. We're talking about mothers right now.
On the T-shirt.
And so the vicarious trauma that you intentionally put on your child. Even if you legitimately have been traumatized by the father of your child, you take that trauma and put it on your kid. I don't know why you would intentionally traumatize your child, but that is crazy. And then just the whole thing of like, I know people when misery loves company, but like when you want your child to join your misery and you act like that child doesn't recognize that they have two parents, and so whenever you talk down about one parent to that child, you really mess that child up, because it's like, wait, so any bad thing they do, they're going to attribute it to, I must be like this because of my other parent, because my one parent I trust told me my other parent's like this. So instead of working on bad behavior or working on getting stuff better, you just chalk it up as, I must be like my daddy. And so, so I just, a toxic mother is just somebody who purposely poisons their child, their mind, their childhood experience, and further will poison their adulthood because of the ideologies that you place on them out of a selfish or ignorant place.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna steer my answer away from a toxic mother's actions are because of someone else, and more so like because of the father, how she feels about the father, stuff like that. I'm gonna say a toxic mother, and I guess it stems for both parents, but we'll just keep it for mothers, is that toxic parents are the kind are selfish, but it doesn't have to be because they didn't like the other parent. It's they put their feelings first over the child. How they truly feel about the situation, whether they feel like the situation is great or not. More so, they feel like the situation is not great, they're just going to automatically rest, rule, and govern the child's life according to that without looking at the overall picture and understand just because they don't like singing and dancing, we'll take something like that, then the child doesn't need to like singing and dancing, stupid shit like that. But you can also put it into bigger topics. They also, I do believe that parents have the right to have access to your life in your early ages, but a lot of times parents don't understand that cuts off at a certain point. I ain't even saying 18, because 18 you're legally an adult, but you're still a child. Like, looking back, 18, yeah, I could do certain things, but overall, like, I was still young and dumb, right? And so, so I get it where parents feel like they should still have access to a certain point. However, if I am 30 something and I'm in, if I'm dating and I'm engaged and you don't like her, like, that has nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to understand those type of boundaries, and also a toxic mother can, I guess say parent, but for this, toxic mother can have that type of guilt trip on you. You're doing these things and you don't understand how it affects me, and all my life I had to fight. Well, you don't have to fight anymore, mama. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm grown.
These are the type of things. Yeah, I'm grown and I'm doing well, or well enough to take care of myself, and so let me blossom and do things that I need to do in life, and it's not gonna. And my overall decision, my overall decision is not based off of the positioning of my parents. It shouldn't be anyway. If I want to move to Europe, I shouldn't have to be overly worried about my parents' feelings in the situation. If they want me to be safe, that's one thing. However, stopping me from growing and learning and blossoming in life because you don't want me to go so far away and stuff like that. Those are the type of things I contribute to toxic parenting, and I guess you can say mothers, because I feel like at least the media plays mothers into these particular corners
Yeah.
when they're being toxic. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get on guys too. I just want to say that. But
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
next.
Yeah,
That's
right
definitely
now
next.
we're on
Yeah.
mothers.
That's definitely
but I
gonna
just wanted to
happen.
say, yeah, it's definitely gonna happen.
Right.
Everybody getting the smoke today. So, but the thing is, I think society helps further this toxic mother society, narrative. For instance, it's so commonplace to ask a father, "Why don't you fight for your kids?" What kind of father doesn't fight for their kids? Well, why don't we look at that question? Why does a father have to fight for his kids? Why do I have to fight? Do you
And
know
you're making this? Who's making this a battle?
right? Do you know it's my kid? Because I know it's my kid, and if we both have this understanding, why can't I call you and say, "Can I see my kid?" and we work out an arrangement so we can share custody of this child without going to court? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but society is kind of like that thing. Like, I gave birth to this child, now you have to earn them. And a lot of times, just to be all the way gangster, like, you try to make it harder to be in that child's life than it was to make that child. All I had to do was take you to McDonald's to make the child. Now I gotta I gotta make 6 figures to be in a child's life.
What poor lady did this?
No.
I'm just saying.
Let me just make this clear too. I do have children, and I do have I'm not with any other mother, but I would say this: I'm not coming from your boy not sitting on here bitter. Your boy's not sitting on here being whatever. So if I give a reference, it's probably something from the past or somebody else's situation, because I'm not on here on some. Let me air out. It's my chance to be bitter. I'm good.
He's not, this is not a Tyler Perry podcast.
Nah. Yeah. So it's a lot of things that society requires of women, even as they become single mothers, and of men as they're fathers of single mothers' kids. that just added stress that just goes on there that just is unnecessary. And if you're not strong enough, then you'll play right into it.
For sure. Well, for me, I believe what makes someone a toxic mother or a bad. I don't even want to say a bad mother, because I feel like you can be toxic and still be a good mother. You're not the greatest mother, but you're still toxic, right? When it comes to certain situations, you're leading them or you're showing them the wrong way to handle life. So that's kind of toxic. But that doesn't mean you don't.
Do you say that out of empathy or out of what you really think?
No,
really think a toxic mother is a good mother?
What I said was they're not the best mother. That doesn't mean they're a bad mother, right? Excuse me. Doesn't mean they're a bad mother.
I see.
It just means that they have shit they need to work on, right? Because they're probably still busting their ass and going to work every day. They're probably still trying to teach them things of like how to be a good person or stuff like that. They, like I said before, just don't know how to handle their own emotions sometimes, and it comes out toxic, right? They might be bad people and they're trying to grow better people. They just don't know how to be better people themselves, right? They're trying to teach this person how to be a better person. They just don't know how to do it themselves. So that's one thing. But what makes a toxic mother is one who won't, and I think you both said it, get over themselves. One who won't put themselves on the back burner or put their feelings on a back burner for the betterment of that child. If you know this man, just because you don't like this man, or maybe he's done some bad things or whatever, but you know this child should be in that father's life, and you making it as hard as you can, or every time his name comes up. I would say this. One thing my mom never did was talk bad about my father in front of me. The only time we had those conversations was when I was old enough to bring it up myself, and then we had conversations. And she never did that, right? And my mom was not perfect, but she never did that. She never told me when I got excited that my dad was coming in town, "Oh, your daddy ain't shit. Yeah, blah, blah, blah." She never did that.
Yeah.
And that happens.
No, I never had that either.
Like, there are women that will tell a 4-year-old, "Your daddy ain't shit." So what does that do to the psyche of that little kid at that time, right? What does that do? You're literally painting a picture of the only black man in your life ain't shit. So what does that do for the rest of your life as a kid? It's fucked up. So
your daddy is shit. I ain't shit. I was weekend. I had you to keep me.
You old keep a nigga baby.
Keep a nigga baby.
Nobody. Yeah, nobody talks about that though, right?
Man, I think
He's
it's what it
with
comes
his
down
real
to sometimes,
family.
though. I think that's what it comes down to sometimes, though. For real, like I think hit dogs holler. I think if you want to see the women who had a kid to keep her, that's the ones who's keeping the kid away from the father. Those are the ones who are the hellions, who's baby mama drama. They're the epitome of that because they wanted that man. But if somebody just was like, listen, we're in a situation, I got a beautiful baby on the way that is a blessing from God, and that baby comes, they're not going to use that baby as a pawn because they love that child, and it's not about that guy. But if you really got pregnant for that dude, oh yeah, you got to get the blues.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so I think there's definitely, no good dudes out there who ain't shit, right? But we're just going for this particular question, we're just going to talk about the women who ain't shit.
Because that is a thing, ladies. That's a thing.
It is a thing.
Some of y'all ain't shit. Stop acting like y'all ain't. Stop it.
Well,
stop it. No, stop. Some of y'all ain't shit.
For real. Stop riding coattails.
This is real life.
It's
we're
like
not saying that some of us ain't
it's
shit because
we'll get on that next.
We'll get on that.
Exactly.
We will get on that.
But like, stop riding coattails. Stop riding the black woman coattail. Stop being like, because you're a black woman and somebody says that you're a trash person, quit being like, oh, so you don't like black women. No, you're trash. You're trash. Yeah, not
you,
all black
the
women.
Individual.
You're individually trash by yourself.
No, so what I'm saying is that, like PJ, my mother never trashed my father, in front of me. There was only one situation when there was a new discovery in our lives that she was upset about some things, and I understand that, and I was of age to understand that. But I know that mothers out there probably have issues with the baby father because the baby father just doesn't do whatever the fuck they want them to do. And therefore they get in their feelings. Like, humans are emotional creatures for the most part. Like, no matter what you want to say, male, female. So if a mother who is pregnant and feel like because she's pregnant, she should get everything that she want, and she's already a controlling chick in the first place. You know what I'm saying? She's playing all those type of strings. You know what I'm saying? And now here comes this dude who now got her pregnant. They got collectively, they're having this kid, right? Like, he just didn't do his part. Like, they do it together. So now all of a sudden he ain't coming to see her and she want him to. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't spending money like she thinks and all that good stuff. And all of a sudden, like, even in the worst case situation is that when, like, yeah, I got you pregnant, but we not together. And I know it ain't going to work relationship wise, but I'm going to be a man and help raise this child. But I got my new girl who is, I hate to say it, I'm not going to tell you to your face, but unless you make me angry, she's a better woman than you. I'm going to live my life over here and be happy, but I'm still going to be connected to you and help raise this child. No woman wants to hear shit like that. You know what I'm saying? They never want to be the one that wasn't picked for the life-term situation or get that control, you know what I'm saying,
especially
taken from them.
Plan. Right, that was the plan in the first place.
Yeah. Let's say this. Let's not say that she's a better woman than you. She's just better for me than you are.
No, she can be a better woman. She can be.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
It can be both. It can be both.
That could be the case.
It can be both.
It can be both. But I think a lot of times it's more or less like, this person is better for me. Yeah. And they take it as, oh, you think she's better than me. And that's not what I'm saying.
I know what you mean.
We just don't fit. I literally don't like you. Right? I don't
like you and your family. Like, like, stop this shit.
Yes.
Collectively, because that's the thing. Like,
but we can have this
get a girl pregnant
and do what we do and be friends and make it happen. Right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we have to be together.
And it can happen if you're emotionally intelligent. If you're emotionally intelligent and if you don't have ulterior motives. Like, a child should never be a reason to keep a relationship together. A child should never be a reason to be like, oh, I know what hurt you the most. You know what I'm saying? Like, it shouldn't be there. Like, I'll tell you, here's probably, I'm gonna probably bring up a couple of personal things. One of the hardest conversations I've ever had with my daughter, my oldest daughter, she's 20 now. Hardest conversation, she was probably 14 and 14 or 15. And she called me and she was just like, She was mad at me. Why don't you ever call me? You don't care about me. You don't love me, da-da-da-da-da. And I was just like, baby girl, I call you every day. I do love you. And she was like, you don't call me. If you call me, I would talk to you. Nope. Your mother doesn't give you the phone. She tells me you're busy. She tells me you're outside playing. She tells me all this kind of stuff. But in tears, flowing in tears. You're lying. My mother would never do that. My mother would never keep me from you. And all I can say is, baby girl, I call you every day. And she holds on to that still. Like, me and mom split up. You disappeared. You don't love us. You don't like us. You don't call us. You don't want to be around. But that is strictly contrived by her mom. But it's something I got to live with, right? Because that's the one who's there with her. That's the one who she trusts the most. That's the one who, why would you lie? Why would you lie to your kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what she's on. Why would you lie? And so when stuff like that happens, man, like, yeah, if you get with somebody else, like, it's easy to say, I got with a better woman. Because what kind of woman does stuff like that and tortures a kid? I'm sure she was standing right there hearing her cry, saying, my mother would never do this to us. But here we are. That was when she was like 14, 15. Now she's 20. And ain't nothing changed. So, you know, it's just like, but then what do you get out of that, right? You got an ally? Like at her, you know, detriment. You got somebody else to say, because, you know, we don't like him either. And it makes you feel good to hear my kids say we don't like him. But you don't realize the psyche, you know, the detriment that you're causing when they make that statement. Especially they look just like me.
And then not only that, what's really fucked up about that is it's not about just the now, right? You're literally causing trauma for years. Like we've had discussions on this podcast that has brought some of us, probably my crybaby ass, to tears about shit that our dads did, about relationships that we didn't have, about things that we wanted that didn't get, you know. So it's the same difference. Like if somebody is doing that and making people or making kids feel a certain way, you're not just affecting them for 5 years or 6 years, or you're affecting them for the rest of their lives. That's what trauma is. That's what triggers are, right? And so now, does your daughter trust men when it comes to like trying to build a family and stuff like that? Does she trust people? Right. Like it's a whole. You never know what rabbit hole emotions will go down, and that's why I think it's important for us to just be careful with the way we handle our children.
Because what happens is that she finds herself running from a man who doesn't exist. So she's like, I'll never get with a man like my dad. You don't even know your dad like that. You know what I'm saying? You haven't been allowed to know your dad like that. You know, we've had numerous conversations. Like we used to see each other since me and her mom, we used to see each other every year for an extended period of time, stuff like that, until like her later teenage years. But it's like, you know, it's just like, I don't know. You get your identity from your parents, from both of them, you know? Mm-hmm. You know, you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been, and where you've been as a kid is who your parents are. And if you miss that critical aspect, when do you get that? When do you learn about yourself? It's hard to do that in your 20s. Like, you're gonna learn about yourself as you evolve as a person, but those fundamental blocks of who you are and what makes you who you are, if you don't, so not only do you get that late, you have to overcome a whole lot of foolishness to get there. You got to heal from some stuff that never really happened to you. You have to overcome some things that never was meant to be in your life, because you do have a dedicated father. You do have a father who wants you in his life. You know what I'm saying? And that's not just me. This is like men in general. And it's just black men either. It's men in general. Mm-hmm. You have men who want to be in your life. But if you're led to believe they don't, now you have to overcome some trauma that never happened. You have to overcome some self-esteem issues that you shouldn't have to be carrying. And then you have to reconcile with a guy who's been waiting, standing by to just be in your life. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I don't even think people really put that into perspective. Let me put this baggage on my child.
Back up.
Like, let me put this baggage on my child. Like, if anything, I'm as far as is that good? Is that worth it? Is that it?
I don't know, but you're blowing the audio out, so right there. Part of it's going to be negligible.
Well, I mean, no, it's one of those things where, like, how can I really tell this child something that's going to literally shape them in a negative aspect? like give them this type of negative scope on not just their parent but other people. Now they think that their father is trash, and now they're gonna see other people who have fathers in their lives and not gonna like them because they have somewhat of a perfect picture type situation. Now they hold those type of grudges and shit because now they have this different aspect in life. Why would you eat? And this is just parents. Period. You should never talk down about the other parent to your child.
Never. No.
And that's just, I don't even have to have children to even understand that. Like, just knowing how life is in general growing up, you should never do that. Like, that doesn't make any type of sense.
But I would say this. I think it's important after a child is at a certain age to tell them the truth about the other person. Right,
but I think it's a difference between telling the truth and talking down
about somebody
right.
to tell the truth. Well, yeah. That's I'm just making that differential. That's what I'm doing right now. Like it's okay to tell the truth about, you know what, your dad has some issues or your mom has some issues and this is why we're here and stuff like that, or whatever it is, or we didn't get along. Like, you can tell the truth about people and not try to bury them. You know what I'm saying? It's a parent's responsibility to protect their kids in every way possible, in my opinion. And protecting them includes giving them the information to make their own decisions, educated decisions about things, once they're old enough to understand it.
So can we walk out an example real quick? So they lay down, she gets pregnant, he's a dope boy, doing all type of ass shit, and she's like, I ain't with it. Like, I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Like, she can probably not like the dude, but like at the same time, like he's you know what I'm saying, he's a dope boy, and probably she feels like he'll have the child in harm's way. Right, good daddy, and have the child in harm's way. At what point would you all suggest for the mother to truly show that light to the child? Like, yeah.
That's good. So, okay, when it has something to do with characteristics and present lifestyle, I think that can be shared in a way that still protects the child. You know, in a sense, you know, right now it's just not fun to go over to daddy's house right now, as opposed to your daddy sells drugs and you're gonna go over and get killed. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying?
That's totally different delivery.
You feel me? And then, but I think where it crosses the line is where you start getting into the relationship. Your daddy cheated on me, broke my heart, left just all with nothing, and that's why he ain't here. Come on, man. They don't need to know your relationship, because the relationship doesn't matter when it comes down to the kid, you know? Sure. And so I think it depends on what you're being truthful about. You know, keeping it real with your kid can go wrong in so many different ways when you start telling them stuff that's really none of their business. Because if it gets down to the for real, and we talk about who really did what in relationships, you don't really want to have that conversation.
You never really know. And not only that, as men, we have fucked up plenty of times. So okay, I can only speak for myself. There are times I fucked up plenty of times, and I might have been that guy that just didn't commit for no fucking reason, right? I was just fortunate enough not to get anybody pregnant in that situation. But we all have been that person where we were just fucking around, or we were just having fun, we're just whatever, and that's not what we were going for. And then somebody gets pregnant, and they feel a different way about the situation that you just don't feel about it. That doesn't mean I'm a bad man. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be a great father. But you're mad about it, so this now we're at where we're at. You know, you're going to punish me and punish the kid because we're not going to be in that situation that you want to be in or you think we should be in. That's toxic as fuck.
And I think specific to like this question, it all boils down to the initial kind of statement I had about the best interest of the child, right? If he a dope boy and he gonna have a kid in harm's way, if you think keeping him away from there is what you need to do, that's fine. If there's certain things about his father's life that you think he needs to know so he can avoid those same pitfalls, that's fine too. But as you know, mentioned, part of it's about delivery, and then as BJ said, part of it is about when they're actually capable enough to actually digest that information, right? you don't want to throw everything on a fucking 6-year-old and they don't know what's going on. They don't know how to process it. They just think daddy's a monster, right? So whenever they're actually mentally capable enough to handle it is when you should start having those conversations. But before then, if you're not doing something, but it is actually in the best interest of the child, I think it's fine. I don't think that's toxic in any way. I don't think it's bad in any way. I think that's you being the protector that you're supposed to be until the other parent, or hopefully if that other parent is actually able to step up and be what he needs to be.
Absolutely. Very well put.
We better turn the corner if they think we hate women.
I was going to say, let's go ahead and segue into the next question.
Y'all do.
What makes someone a toxic or a bad father? You know, it's not all about just hating or shitting on the ladies. What makes a toxic or bad father?
So I think you could take. I definitely think there's some blending that you can do with these characteristics that make them toxic, right? But I also feel maybe for fathers and sons, there could be this stupid rivalry and competition that I believe is a toxic trait when a father feels like they're threatened by their son, doing great in life.
That young buck coming up.
You know what I'm saying? Doing great in life and, doing better than them. Because, it's one of those things where like, oh, I've been this provider, this, that, and the third. And you think just because, now you're this doctor doing all this great shit, like you're a better man than me. Like that's a toxic parent. That's
remember that video on social media where dude was doing the pull-ups? Dad did he did like 1.5 pull-ups.
Those
like,
type
don't
of
ask
things.
Me for nothing.
And I also feel like it's a toxic trait for fathers when they can't share their emotions. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you may not think that as being toxic, but at the same time, it's very important for a man to show their child, son or daughter, that they also care and have feelings. Absolutely. Because what you end up doing is making these expectations of men not being able to share, not being able to, show their emotions, and not to be just freaking human. And that's toxic. That's going to hurt. That's going to start this whole cycle of mess, of expectations that's unreal and causes heart attacks and early death and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're holding, but that's a whole nother. And what else? Overly critical fathers. I think that can be definitely mother, but fathers as well, where everything is damn near a death sentence. Every decision that you make is, well, that's wrong because I don't agree. Or, or just having these tight holds of just being able to tell the kids like everything they do is wrong. Like, you're sweeping the floor. You shouldn't sweep like that. You know what I'm saying? Like stupid shit like that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Why are you going to school to be a veterinarian when you need to be going to school to be a doctor for humans and shit like that? Like overly critical in every aspect of life. Those are toxic characteristics that could be for both parents, but I think also social media and the media itself just will put on fathers.
Listen, my intelligent brother, I understand. You didn't get no choice. Besides, after she said she was pregnant, you didn't get no choice, right? She has many choices that she can do going forward without your consent. She has many choices.
All the choices.
All the choices. You have none. I get it. However, you put yourself in a situation. So once that you've been tapped to be a father, you are toxic as hell if your response is you're not going to be a part of that child's life.
What you telling me for?
That is super toxic. For you to think that whatever you got going on in your life is more important than influencing your seed or trying to influence your seed in any way. If you have these old, archaic, patriarchal type of views on things, men don't cry, men can't wear these colors, men do this, toughen up, do that. All the foolishness that robs a child of their true identity and living in their authenticity. You're a toxic father. You're a toxic father. Listen, here's one thing I know for sure. If I can't see my kids, and if I can't be there for whatever reason, you know it is going to be there. That child support payment is going to be there. Do I love paying child support? Hell no. Who loves child support? But one thing I can do is that when you do come back, if you do come around, listen to your mama talking about you ain't never did nothing. Guess who keeps great records? The great state of whatever is managing your child support. So here's all the money I've sent to your mama. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you gotta basically you gotta step up. No excuse. No excuse. Now here's the thing. I'm not telling you to endure countless, abuse and disappointment and rejection and letdown like that. I'm just saying, as a man, we have to find a way to be a part of we got to find a way to be a part of our kids' lives. And if you absolutely push to the point to where you can't be a part of their lives, because it's not, here's one thing. Sometimes it can really play on your mental health. If you know that your child is being groomed to hate you, and every time you talk to that kid, all you getting is hate, you seeing your baby girl, your baby boy, and they talking junk to you, and you know it's really their mama talking to you, that hurts. To put yourself in that position weekly, daily, monthly, whatever, to always have your kid break your heart, that you got to protect your mental health. And I know it ain't popular because people tell you in their toxic way, be a man, be strong, you hang in there. You ain't got to worry about, forget your feelings. They ain't gonna tell her that. You don't have to suffer abuse. You don't have to suffer that over and over again. But try. And if all else fails, I know my mother used to tell us a long time ago, and all the old school women used to tell her, you go down and put yourself on child support and take care of your kid. I don't make that recommendation. Don't get in the system. Just send a check. Send a money order to her. Try to don't get in child support if you ain't got to be in child support. But do what you can to try to help your kid. And all you can do is just pray that, whatever. But so I ain't trying to give no excuses for how not to be a toxic. We're talking about how to be toxic. And I think being a toxic father is just one of those people who, just like a mother, who we just described the last time, if you can't put your own interests to the side for a little bit, if you can't compromise your best interest, or to look out for your child, then you're toxic.
Yeah, and I guess for me, when I think about a toxic father, or a bad father, whatever you want to call it, a lot of the traits that I think of actually stem from what previous generations have taught them, what they've learned from their father, their grandfather, things like that, where the male doesn't realize that times have changed and you need to adapt with those times to actually provide your kid with what they need. So, as you guys mentioned, actually allowing them to have emotions, talking with them, sharing stuff. One of the big things, you guys know, I'm a team Kirk Franklin, so beat these kids' asses if you need to, but at the same time, make sure the kids are actually learning from that, and they don't just feel like they're getting beat and not taking anything away from it, right?
Beat and pray.
Right, and beat, pray, and let them know why they're getting beat so they can actually stop these actions versus just being salty at you and think you're a fucking chain whipper. That's toxic. Of course, if you're not there, fuck that, Tim Kirk Franklin. If you're not there, not in a child's life, I mean, that's a clear, indicator of a toxic parent, because then, again, you're just putting your own personal desires and needs, which is not being involved, ahead of what's best for that child. But you lay down in the bed and you have to suffer those consequences at that point, whether you wanted them or not. Whether she tricked you, whether you got drunk and you didn't mean to do it, whatever it is, and you guys need to step up to the plate and actually handle the situation. Like Seb mentioned, if it's a situation where you're trying to step up and they won't let you, if all you can do is send money, I also don't think you should go put yourself on child support, because that's stupid. But if you're gonna send the money, keep records of it, because you need to keep records. Yeah. That's the one thing you got to do, is keep them goddamn records. But I feel like the other thing with toxic fathers that I see far too often is putting their kids in bad environments, right? You want to spend time with your son, but that time shouldn't be at the neighborhood poker game. It shouldn't be shooting dice on the corner. It shouldn't be at the dope house while you got to go pick up some weed for one of your boys and this and that and that. Like, kids know this shit even if they don't say shit. And you really want to make sure that they stay away from those things, because we all got our vices. But whatever they are, you don't want your kids to pick up their vices because of you, because if that ends up being their downfall, you're never going to be able to live past that, right? So definitely try not to actually put them in those situations, because that's like subtly toxic, even if you don't realize what you're doing. Kids notice this shit. They pick up on shit. I still remember tons of places I've been when I was a kid. Thank God most of them were good. Nothing was bad because my parents were pretty well, actually, I found out more and more shit, but they didn't do no wild shit. But even the bad shit, or not bad, even the fun shit that I wish we would have been around, I never even knew they did. They just kept us away from it. So just protect your kids' environment is a big thing that I would say that people, I think, overlook, because they just think, oh, well, if he going to be with me, he going to be with me. But I think that's a shitty way to actually look at it.
Can I add real quick, like, dear fathers, please stop trying to make your kids scared of you. Respecting you is one thing, but being scared of you, to me, that's toxic.
It's gonna backfire.
I don't think there should ever be a point where I am scared to come to you about something that's going on in my life. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be so scared that you're going to blow a fucking gasket that I'll end up having to deal with something on my own when I could have easily come to you, and be like, hey, this is what I'm going through. I fucked up here. Yeah. Can I talk to you about it? Or, saying shit like that. Those are things like when a father is so filled with rage or want to rule the family with an iron fist, and that whole situation of I'm the head of the household. Yeah, you are. But I don't need to be sitting here walking around on eggshells because you're going to sit here and, just blow a fucking fuse because I put a scratch on something. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Like that's fucked up. But
yeah, no, I totally agree. And, along those lines too, I forgot what you just said.
Over ruling with fear.
Oh, yes. The only thing that they should be afraid of is disappointing you. Right? They should just not want to let you down. That's it.
That goes
You know what? You know what I heard, Dre? I heard something that was really good. I think it was a meme too. So you can learn off social media. One thing they said was like, instead of telling your child, I'm proud of you, you should tell them tell them I'm proud of you and you should be proud of yourself. So then you instill like not only them disappointing you, like them disappointing themselves at an early age.
The rewards that they do and gain are not about the parents.
Right.
It's about them succeeding in life.
Like you should be proud that you graduated. You should be proud that you got this A or whatever. So yeah. In that same vein. But yeah, it's just, you know what? If I talk to a guy and I say, how's your kids? And you say, man, I don't know. I ain't talked to you. Toxic. You toxic.
Nah, give more the story. Give more the story.
No. Because here's the thing.
Is that fair? Because you've been in situations where you weren't either able to talk to them or give them the whole truth. So,
let me tell you this right now. There's been a lot of times when I haven't been able to talk to my kids. But I tell you what, I always know how they are.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking.
I always know how my kids are.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah, there was just a meme of a father sitting, or he sent a message on social media congratulating his kid for graduating kindergarten, even though he didn't know what the ceremony was going to happen. And I'm thinking, and people said it as well, like, how the hell you don't know when your kid is graduating kindergarten? Like, are you that far removed? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there such a barrier? Like, you're a parent. Like, you can easily find ways to check in and to find that information. Not saying, like,
can you?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say easily. I wouldn't say easily,
but you can certainly get it. Like, I know where my kids go to school. I know their addresses. I know where my kids are. I know exactly where they're going.
So help me out. Like, my kid, I can't see my kid for whatever reason because of the mother, right? But I found out that my kid goes to Foster Elementary School. I'm gonna walk in Foster Elementary School and talk to every teacher, at the principals, all that good stuff. So I know what the hell is going on. Like I'm because I'm not in a situation. There may be barriers that I don't understand, but in the general blink of it all, I feel like you should still be able to go do those certain things.
Yeah, it just depends on what happens in court. Because if she goes to court and you don't respond, because most black men ain't trying to go to court. And a lot of men just ain't trying to go to court because you don't understand it. You don't understand what goes on in court, and you have and most people have this. Most people who grew up the way we did, we have this weird fear that going into court is going to get us caught up. I'm gonna have a warrant, and when I walk through the medical detector, they're gonna
shit
find
out of
out.
nowhere.
Like they don't got nothing like checking you in, but we just got this thing. Like I'm gonna go into court, the door's gonna lock behind me, and I'm going to jail.
We just taking attendance. Like,
You know
I'm not
what I'm
going through your record because you're here.
Like we calling your
just
name
need to know
because you
who's
wrote it
in the
down.
building.
Like we ain't look it up, you wrote it
Right.
down, so we calling it. But if they get a court order that says like, say for instance, they have 100% legal custody, like you're not finna find out nothing when you go to their school at all.
Right, that's what,
you know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, even if you want to be involved, if you don't have a certain level of supervision or whatnot that's actually on file at the schools, they ain't telling you shit. You can go there and talk to their first grade
they'll call
teacher,
mom.
and they'd be like, "Can somebody get this dude out of our school? He shouldn't be here right now."
Yeah, they'll call mom,
Yeah,
and mama
they have
say,
no
"No,
idea who you
he
are."
ain't, I got an order against him. He shouldn't be there," and you shut down. They call the
Or
police
like
on you.
at my nephew's school, if my brother wasn't involved, they wouldn't even let one of the parents actually even come into the school. You'll be at the desk, and they'd be like, "You're not on the list for Coleman Walton, Mr. or Mrs. whoever. We're gonna need you to get on the list and then come back. And if their parents don't put you on the list, then it's a wrap."
That's it.
Yeah.
Period.
So
And I'm glad we're talking about this because a lot of times when we talk about men not being in women in their kids' lives, it's always like, oh, you're just lazy, or oh, you're just this. And really, in all honesty, like if you're working, if you're working like crazy or whatever's going on that keeps you from being able to go to court, or you just don't know what you're doing. Some people just don't know what they're doing. You don't like. I think California is like one of the only places to have a self-help center. They actually have volunteer lawyers to help you fill out paperwork, and they help you file your stuff and whatever like that. They don't give you legal advice, but they help you file your petitions if you want to get custody of your kids and stuff, or whatever you're dealing with. A lot of states don't have that. You go to the courthouse and they just like fill out your forms, and you ain't a lawyer. You don't know what to do. And then what do you do? If you're already paying thousands of dollars in child support, and you got to pay thousands of dollars to get a lawyer, and then you got to pay thousands of dollars when you do see the kid. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where do I get all this money from to quote unquote fight for my kid? However, since we did give the mothers the blues, I do want to say, like, if you're not at least trying to be a part of your kid's life, especially what boggles my mind when I know a dude only got one kid. You only got one kid, and you can't try to keep up with that one kid, and they live in the same city as you. Toxic and trash.
So I was giving you about a whole lot of shit right now because I've talked about in the past giving my dad grace and understanding his lifestyle and how life can just kind of get away from you, right?
Wait, are you about to rebut some shit that you said before?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just talking about how I don't give a fuck. If you got a kid out there, I understand that there's so many obstacles, but you better exhaust every possibility if you really want to see your child. I mean, I'm talking about exhaust them all. You need to be trying. You need to be doing everything. And I understand that you have those toxic mothers out there that ain't trying to let you see them. I understand that maybe you, as a man, probably haven't grown in a way to where maybe you don't even deserve to see your kid, or they don't deserve to be around you in certain aspects or certain situations. But if you're really trying and you really want to have your fingerprint on that child's life, there's nothing that should stop you. You should be an annoyance. You should be that fucking gnat at the barbecue. You should be that motherfucker that, like, literally, she's gonna let you see your kid because she is so tired of you fucking calling. Or she's so tired of you changing your number because she's blocking you, but yet you still getting through. Like, that's how persistent you should be to see your fucking kid.
Yes and no.
Nobody says.
Yes and no, BJ, because if it's too much, then they're going to file a restraining order on you, and then you're not going to be able to see that.
There's no restraining order when I'm trying to see my fucking kid.
Yes, there is.
It is.
Nigga, what are you talking about?
In my opinion, I get it. No,
your opinion isn't law, though. But we're talking about law. You do that shit.
Yeah, that's
you
harassment.
will not exactly. You will not be able to see your kid. You will go from supervised visitations to get the fuck out of here. The court papers and this sheriff say you can't see your kid.
So my question is that okay? Is harassment for me to try to be in my kid's life? That's harassment?
See, BJ, that's what I'm saying.
It is.
Why do we have to fight for our kids? So in fighting, you can get in more trouble. If you got a real treacherous one, who really is just like, nope, I know you love this kid and you don't love me. Like, bro, you gonna get caught up, and then if you call back, you're going to jail.
I get that, but there are also guys that just don't try to do shit either.
Absolutely,
Let's please highlight that.
There's a middle ground, but what you're saying will get you in a worse situation than.
And that's why I'm afraid to be with. That's why I'm afraid sometimes, because I'm that motherfucker. I'm the one.
That's why I tell every guy who has a kid and you're not married to that person to get a paternity test. I don't care how much you trust her. It ain't about trusting her. Get a paternity test. Get a legal paternity test. Have the court do it.
I've been
and
there.
then get a custody order. I don't care if she says, "No, I ain't gonna never keep your kid away." No, get a custody order.
Yeah.
Get a 223, a 2255, week on, week off. Get something in writing that she can't stop you, or let's not even go that he can't, because there's some dudes on that stupid junk too. There's some dudes who's really just like, man, this woman done carried this baby for almost a year, sacrificed her health, her body, everything else to have this child, and then all of a sudden you want to be on some dumb, and she can't see this kid that she pushed out. Boy, you don't get your goofy stuff on somewhere, like. So there's some dudes on that too. So it's like if you like in marriage, it kind of comes automatic. You know what I'm saying? You got to get that custody order, but it kind of comes automatic because it's like, okay, the child came in marriage, da-da-da. But if you out here making your moves and dropping seeds to somebody who is not, you better go get a paternity test because that's going to establish you as a father. And then you get, mothers, you don't got to get a paternity test. You cool. But get a custody order. Don't let nobody take your kid away if you can help it. If you can afford it, if you can help it, try. Just try. And that's all you can do is try. And then, hopefully when that kid gets older and asks, where were you at? You can say, like, man. Like,
the best thing, I guess, is cover your ass and do the work to make sure that you can be in the picture as much as possible and be consistent.
If you got it.
Step up to the plate. And I know there's the nice guys that don't want to do those type of things of, like, doing the paternity test and, you know what I'm saying, and then, putting all this shit in the paper, in the system or whatever, or trying to make the mama look bad because then, it's a whole bunch of drama that he don't necessarily want to cause. But fuck being the nice guy and be correct. Like, stand up in this shit. Like, just understand, like, if you are the father, know that you're the father for sure with the test. And making sure that all your ducks are lined up so you can see your child. Like, don't let anybody take the opportunity for you to be a parent. You know what I'm saying? I get it. You don't like this other person that you happen to lay down one night and conceive this child. I understand that. That's human. But understand there's a person between you all that you all got to work together. And there have been some horrible people in group projects, and I get it. But
group projects.
So
what about so I think another thing that's toxic is when a motherfucker has all the opportunities to see their kid, but want to be a bitch about it and just not come see their kid, and then try to do this old legal jargon, because I can't control the narrative of it, I'm gonna jump through hoops and do all this other shit and act like a little fucking bitch, even though you're from Flint, Michigan and you used to play basketball. You want to do all this bullshit and act like a little fucking bitch and not see your fucking daughter when you're supposed to, because you want to try to control the situation. Or then you want to act like you're scared to come see her because of one minor incident one time. Like, you're acting like a fucking whore, right? Like, do you really want to see your daughter or do you not? Or do you want to just, like, be a puppeteer? That's toxic.
Hypothetically.
Too. Hypothetically, of course.
Hypothetically.
Somebody
that kind of hypothetical shit get people hypothetically punched in a hypothetical face.
Hypothetically.
And then they get scared. And then they hypothetically get scared.
Time. Yes. And now you want to act like a hypothetical bitch. You know what I'm saying? So.
What?
I said, then you want to act like a hypothetical bitch, right? So
the second time.
Yeah.
That's what you tried to say.
The second time.
The point of the matter is, we all know who hypothetically we're talking about. But the point of the matter is, also, fuck that shit too, right? You have every opportunity to do whatever the fuck you want, but because
you can't manipulate the situation.
You want to be a manipulator, and you run into some families that's not having that. We're not having that shit, right? Or they're not having that.
The one thing I'm
right?
not gonna do though, I'm not gonna jeopardize my future though. Like if I meet hostiles and I know the only way I come around is if I'm gonna put hands on somebody, I'm not coming around. I'm not going to jail for this because what I'm gonna do then? I'm gonna lose everything. Especially if I go to jail for a violent crime. What I'm gonna do? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just not gonna put myself in a situation to lose. And if that makes me not a good man or not a good father because I won't keep fighting through and persevering through all the tests and trials and obstacles, then I guess I'm just not gonna be one.
But I guess the question is, it's all different situations. But why are you even in that position, right? That shit hypothetically, that shit didn't happen just because you were doing what the fuck you were supposed to do. Hypothetically, right? So if you was doing what the fuck you were supposed to do and you wasn't acting like a fucking whore, that shit never would have happened, right? So most of the time, motherfuckers are in control of their own destiny.
You muted, JT.
Invictus, nigga. Like, come on.
I mean, that's
You're
cool.
the captain of your fate, you're master of your soul. So stop being a fucking
hypothetically
bitch.
now, what is the situation? Hypothetically now, what is the situation? Regardless what bet I made, hypothetically now, what is the situation? I'm going to play it from here.
Hey, hypothetically now, the motherfucker you scared of don't live in that fucking city, so you need to do what the fuck you need to do to see your goddamn
hypothetically, the motherfucker is still related to the baby. So, like,
yeah.
Like that is, you know what I'm saying? Like, so.
No, for real, BJ. You can't, like, if, in this hypothetical situation, you can't create a hostile environment for a person to come into, and then they opt not to come, and then you'd be
real
like,
talk.
No.
It's like, no, I'm not.
Well, no, but no.
Because you're not going to be 40. I'm not going to be 40 fighting nobody
not to
because I'm going to have to kill somebody. I'm not going to fight you. Like, you're going to die, right? So we're not trying to have to deal with that. Now I ain't going to really be a CBR my kid. I'm doing 25 with an L for manslaughter.
But at the same time, is it a even a hypothetical environment if said person isn't around the baby but twice a year?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Who knows this?
But
okay.
he does.
No. Listen, what I'm saying. Hypothetically,
The hypothetical.
you never know.
You never know. Right.
You never know.
You never know.
All I'm saying is, like, yeah, twice a year, that's cool. I don't know when those twice a years are, and it could be more than twice a year. Why am I going to sit here and take a chance, hypothetically, if I show up to the house and hypothetically this other motherfucker's there ready to put hands on me?
Right.
Because
hey, listen. I ain't got no kids, but if I did, I would die for them. I'll tell you that much.
Because hypothetically, you shouldn't be a bitch.
Yeah, you would.
If I can legally do something to keep from dying, I'm going to do that.
Absolutely.
Hypothetically, you shouldn't
Absolutely.
be a bitch.
Like, because flip the switch. Flip the script. Say, hypothetically, this was one of our sisters. And so, and she goes to see there for some reason the child is over there, and then somebody go hit on your sister. You're gonna be like, go on over there if you love your kid. No, you're gonna say stay away from there.
I'm going with her.
Either way it goes, you're gonna set provisions. So now you got to deal with this hostile environment just to see your kid that may end up in jail, hospital, or worse. Who's doing all that?
I would.
Hypothetically, if you cause issues to where family members are now not allowed to be around,
and then you really can't. Then you really can't be you. Because if I say something to make you mad, you're gonna go tell this hypothetical person. Now I'm gonna have to square up with this dude because you mad, and you know she's gonna be mad. Every time we got an issue, now it's gonna hypothetically go down the chain, and now I can't. Nah.
All right, so but I think y'all taking a little too far. Like,
no,
have y'all ever not? Wait. Hear me out. Hear me out. Have y'all not ever just been at a point where you just had to fight somebody and then it was dead after that?
Dead.
And when I was a kid,
right?
Not as an adult.
No, as an adult.
No,
yeah.
I haven't gotten a fight as an adult.
Over
Absolutely
20.
not.
Let's say over 20.
No.
Over 20.
Last fight I got when I was 17.
Who moves like that still? Shit. Why would you still move like
Who's
that?
fighting?
Because
that's what has to happen sometimes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grass outside.
So hypothetically,
that's
if
okay.
it has to happen,
that's okay.
Now I know what I have to do to make sure that this shit doesn't happen. Now I have to legally do some shit.
I would get a restraining order.
I get what you're saying. Hypothetically, I support the nigga that, you know what I'm saying, to support, you know what I'm saying, and laying down, you know, the family member and shit like that. I get it. However,
no.
Nah, fuck that.
Because I'm going to come over and shoot everybody who come out there with an attitude, and now I'm going to jail.
Yeah. Because if he's hypothetically right now, bitch, and one minute he mans up and, like, for real, physically mans up, now what?
He's gonna get.
So here's the thing.
They didn't sell him his, and that's it.
And you,
I'm not squaring up at 40. I'm not 40 years old getting in a fist fight. What?
Nigga hips.
Like, you're not finna recover as fast.
Why not?
Why not?
Because you're 40.
So what?
You don't recover as fast.
There's ways around that.
You can get punched and die. You're 40.
I'm from the neighborhood where if you square up and it's a fair fight, y'all fighting. If guns come out, and
I ain't even talking about pulling guns at this point. I'm talking about fighting. Period. I'm not fighting nobody.
And then if guns get pulled out, and
unless you roll up on me, I'll fight you. Roll up on me.
You're the dead hero. Fuck that.
You're not gonna be alive long. I'll tell you that much. If I'm dead and you not, you ain't gonna stay alive long.
So now all this has come. Now all this has trickled down.
Right.
That's all I know.
Wanted to square
now
up.
we got violence.
Yeah.
Because I want to see my kid.
Because he ain't want a man up.
Because I want to see my kid, but I ain't gonna deal with that.
I am from the school.
I'd die for my kid if I had one. Let's knock on wood.
Knuckle the fuck up. We all come from that age. We fucking fight. Knuckle the fuck up.
We come from that age. We're not in that age no more.
I get that. That's a good point.
No,
but I get what you're saying, BJ. I get what you're saying, but
I'm not rocking with you on that. BJ, you know you're my dude, but I ain't rocking with you on that.
That's my upbringing. I ain't abandoning it.
So here's the thing. Like, when does it truly end, and how will I know that it truly ends? That every time I come around, I square up, we fight. It's dope. It seems like it's cool.
And I don't get to see my kid because we got in a fight. I'm leaving now. But when we fight, and then I go clean up and get to see my kid.
Nobody ever said that was the situation. Nobody ever said that was the situation. You literally have every opportunity. Hold on. You literally have, hypothetically, every opportunity to see your kid when you want to. Right? You literally do. No one's fighting you on that.
No,
the only thing that happened, hypothetically, was the fact that you were acting like a little fucking bitch. And you're being
Listen,
crazy.
and it shouldn't even be, hypothetically, it shouldn't be nobody else's business. If he's not putting hands on this person,
hypothetically,
then it shouldn't matter.
Fucked up right now. So
no, okay.
I'm not even trying to hear that shit.
Hypothetically, if somebody's not putting hands on,
physical abuse is the same thing. So
no. If we're saying like you're just not coming to see you're not coming to see your kids, so I'm gonna beat you up.
Nobody ever said that. So
no, I'm saying hypothetically, if it's a reason that you just don't like,
Let's make sure this is hypothetically.
Hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, I don't like how you move, so now you got to fight me. What?
Well, that's
yeah. Think about it.
That hypothetically, that could be it.
Okay, so then when he says
hypothetically, that wasn't it. Hypothetically.
But then hypothetically, when he says I ain't coming around and deal with that, now you can't sit back and call him a B because he don't want to fight. Because you're not gonna get in a full fist fight, dust yourself off, and then go pick up your kid like, hey, how you doing? Daddy's here. No,
I would. This ain't Greek. Like
I would.
Yeah.
It's not the same shit.
Get into a fight, walk right back and sit down at the kitchen table.
Absolutely.
We're not kids anymore, guys.
It's not about being kids. It's not about the honor of this thing.
It's a sense of pride. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think hypothetically all family members should be aware of the situation that they can create.
Sure.
Now, what happened before?
Well. For sure.
What happened before? But hypothetically, family members should also be aware of the situations that they can create when it comes to the parents and how they parent their child.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. So
right, but one thing I will say to wrap this up before BJ jump to commercial, to answer your question, JT, in my perspective, you said something about, okay, you fight. When do you guys know it's over? If, let's say, hypothetically, BJ fights me and I'm the hypothetical baby daddy, right? Win, lose, whoever won, at some point, if I feel like there's still animosity, I'm going to step to this man like, yo,
let's talk about
this. Happened, that happened. Let's talk about it. Let's hash this shit out.
We ever get
just
physical?
like,
ain't nothing to talk about. We ever get physical? We beefing until we get hands on. I ain't talking about arguing. You put your hands on me.
I will fight any of y'all and then talk to you about it afterwards.
I'll beat you to death if you try to fight me, boy.
Let's do it. Don't make it come to that because I will swing on all you niggas.
I know what you're saying as a friend.
Win, lose in between.
But we cool though. But we cool.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it's that.
But these are hypothetical enemies from jump.
Right.
But I'm saying it's that same thing because we're and this is why. But this is why we're cool on purpose, right? We decided to be cool. They're not cool on purpose, but they have to actually be kosher for the kid.
Oh,
if you put your hands on me, don't come by the next time you see me. Hey man, let's talk this out. I'm gonna beat you up. Like you put your hands on me, like you got a problem every time you see me,
and that's okay.
So keep your hands to yourself.
And also,
now you've created a hostile situation.
So here's the continuing part of the hypothetical situation, right? So clearly you didn't like how this motherfucker was hypothetically acting in the first place, right? So then you hypothetically hit the motherfucker in the jaw, and now hypothetically the nigga is not around. So say hypothetically the nigga starts doing what the fuck he's supposed to do. Hypothetically, doing everything that he's supposed to, checking off all the boxes. How can he honestly feel safe in the sense, like he shouldn't be a bitch about it, but how can he honestly feel safe if he fucks up or doesn't be to your liking, hypothetically, the person he's supposed to be, and feel like you're not going to come back in the same manner that you came back before?
That sounds toxic. For you to say that for him to feel any kind of trepidation or anxiety around coming around his kid now, that doesn't make him a bitch. That makes him a person.
You gonna let us answer?
No, I mean, I'm saying the way the question is even formed, like that's hella toxic to say somebody's a bitch because they don't want to come around after they got physically assaulted and battered.
Well, maybe your answer will change your line of thinking if you let us.
It won't, but go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
I'll let you finish, but
Beezer, do you hypothetically want to go first?
I would hypothetically.
He can actually go first. It's not a
So,
yeah, I ain't want to step on toes here.
I guess in my
hypothetic
defense, I would say. This is all I'm saying.
Stupid.
I definitely understand what you're trying to say, right? But once you have had a hypothetical conversation after that, and you've talked after that, and it's all about, okay, like I'm trying to see where you're coming from. Hypothetically, let's see what you're gonna do. Well, and then after that, if you want to be a bitch about it, you're being a bitch about it.
But I'm not proving myself to you.
You don't have to.
I'm not proving myself to you.
You don't have to. You don't have to prove yourself to me, right? You don't have to. All I'm saying is, and Dre said it, like, ain't nobody gonna keep me away from my kid. No, I don't give a fuck if your uncle's crazy, your daddy's crazy, whatever. Like, if I'm literally trying to do the shit right, yeah, we can go through the court, we can do this. But I'm not gonna not come over that house just because somebody might be over there. That's some bitch shit.
So here's the reverse. Why isn't hypothetically the child being taken over to the fathers?
If that's the case, yeah, we got to switch it up.
Hypothetically, Denver.
We got to switch it up. We have to switch it up. Like, if I got to come over there and face possible assault and battery, we got to switch it up.
So I have a question. That's what I'm saying. If hypothetically he says, let's have this fucking schedule. This is when I'm coming into town. This is what I want to do. This is whatever. I'll come pick her up. I'll come pick him up. Whatever. This is the thing. What is the problem? These are the dates that you set.
I agree with that part.
These are the dates you set. These are the dates you wanted to come. What's the problem?
I understand that, but how also you can't be mad at this person if they hypothetically say, I will not be there if this person is also going to be there. Now, I'm not saying if you got a schedule, keep the schedule, be a man about your shit. I'm down for that part. But also, like, I don't want to come around and this is the potential of shit that could be popping off.
If the whole point is coming around, if the whole point of coming around is being in my child's life, and me coming around jeopardize me being in my child's life, then what's the point?
All right.
I'm just saying, if the whole point,
we're just hypothetically saying worst case scenario.
Y'all not gonna hypothetically paint a hypothetical nigga like he's a goddamn drug boy and just like I got all his boys out in the yard while this motherfucker come over. That's not what we're doing.
I mean,
right?
You got to know.
It doesn't matter.
It will be in the yard.
We talking about a fist fight.
At 40.
Exactly.
Y'all trying to fist fight at 40?
It doesn't matter how low, hypothetically, this motherfucker was at 39. That doesn't fucking matter. What we're talking about is it was a fucking fist fight, and it was some shit that needed to happen. Sometimes that shit needs to happen. Period.
Look, also, it's the same shit. Like, hypothetically, everybody walked away that time. But I can understand, and know a couple of people had that shit popped off. One or maybe two, possibly more than that, would not be walking this earth.
I know a dude who was like mid-40s, got hit in a fight.
You're a bitch, right?
Got hit in a fight. No.
But they're the live bitch.
He got hit in a fight. Healthy dude. Got hit in a fight, fell back, hit his head on the.
I respect that a lot, bitch.
Hit his head on the ground.
Don't need your respect.
Out of there.
Okay, but that could happen at 23. It doesn't matter that.
Exactly. So why are we trying to fight at 40?
Right.
Why does the age matter, though?
Yeah, the age doesn't matter.
It's more likely to happen the younger they are because they hide.
I want to talk about this in a community group. Let's talk about like how cool it is to fight at 40.
It's not about it being cool,
but I'm still willing to do it.
Of course you're willing. If somebody
attacks
me,
not even,
it's going down.
Nobody wins a fight. Situation. Nobody wins a fight. First off,
nobody wins a war.
Let's get that.
So what's the point in doing it? If I can't win, I don't want to do it. What's the point?
Sometimes you got to teach people a lesson.
Spite.
So
anyway.
Never mind.
Team Kirk Franklin.
You beat that bitch's ass.
We talking about kids. Ain't nobody talking about.
It has the same thing. The same reason you beat the kids, you beat that dumbass nigga hypothetically's ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. So hypothetically, this nigga does not live in the same city.
Hypothetically, he does not.
No.
Okay.
So.
All right, let's hypothetically go to commercial. We dragging.
Bang, bang. Let's move on. Let's move it on. Ever heard of Patreon? Well, if not, it's how you can support us to keep putting out a great show. No matter how much you can give, we have levels for everyone. Link is in all of our accounts. Thank you so much. Peace. All right, everybody, we got back from commercial, and we really appreciate your time. But we're going to keep this shit moving. So the next question that we're going to go with, after talking about toxic mothers and toxic fathers, we're going to talk about the recent internet debate and weigh in on the following topic of which is worse for a kid, a toxic mother or a father that's not there, an absentee father. Which one affects that kid the most or does the most damage? Gentlemen, sound off.
I'm gonna go with. I think they're both equally bad, but if I had to give an edge to one,
gotta pick one. Everybody,
right?
Everybody gotta pick.
If I have to give an edge to one, I have to give it to the toxic mother, and the reason being is because when you're well, it depends on what that level of toxicity is. And if your toxicity contrives a single parent situation that doesn't have to be, I think that's where I give the edge, because you're creating psychological damage in that child over and over again that may or may not be undid one day. Now, absentee father, you creating the same thing. However, there's nothing to be said for it. And so if there's ever a chance for you to come back and heal that relationship, then undone. I said undid, huh? Undone.
I wasn't going to call you out.
But I think so for that toxic, he's still toxic. For that toxic absentee dad, it's kind of like a blank slate. Besides, I mean, it's just, well, it's not just. It's the feelings. It's everything that comes with, am I not good enough? Why my dad doesn't want to come around? Why doesn't he love me? Da da da. And really, I think that has a better chance of healing when you get a chance to have a conversation with that person, if it happens. But for somebody who has given you vicarious trauma, somebody who has given you just toxic ideology, and that's what you trust and grow up on, I think I'll just say this. I'm trying to do it because I don't want to seem like I'm just beating up on women, because I also understand that there's absentee mothers and there's toxic dads. I just know how this goes, and I'm trying to be PC as much as possible. But
man, just say how you feel. Fuck that shit.
Tell them why you mad, son. Tell them why you mad.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. But it's really one of those things where it's like the mother that because we mothers hold a certain place, whether we like it or not. As a dad, you want to feel like, oh, it's equal. I love my child just as much as but mothers hold a certain place with that child. And it's a place that I trust you regardless, Like, I don't question you. I trust you. I depend on you to make sure that I can be the best that I can be. And when you use that for toxicity, it's like it's a betrayal, it's the psychological effect of it and all that, where there's a myriad of reasons why a father might be absent. He could be in prison. Not saying that's cool. None of these are excuses. He can be in prison. He could be in a situation where he's hypothetically physically threatened when he comes around the child, so he doesn't want to come around.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Or he could be
You
a
know?
hypothetical bitch.
He can be that for sure. So I'm saying it's 1,000,001 reasons why a person can be absent, but I can't think of one good reason why you should be toxic towards your child.
All right, I hear you, and for me, I guess my answer is actually contingent on the sex. For me, I think if there's a female child that doesn't have a father around, I actually think that's far more detrimental to that girl growing up, and her development and what she expects out of men and how she actually carries herself and things like that, than if her mom was toxic. I feel like a lot of times, because in that case, if your mom's toxic but your dad's still able to be in the picture, there's still a certain level of grounded that a female can get in perspective, and they can kind of grow into becoming their own self and hopefully a better person than their mom was. But when there's not that male around, I feel like that can lead to a lot of daddy issues that then grow into being a lot more hurtful, not only to the child themselves, but to the future generations of children that they carry on. But in the reverse, I feel like with a male, I feel like a toxic mother is worse, because I feel like on some level, men or young boys, at least from my experience, we tend to gravitate towards our mother. We tend to believe our mother more. We tend to feel like our mom is everything. And even if she's doing some fuck shit, in our minds, it's really hard to rationalize that she's in the wrong. Right? Whereas I feel like a female, in the same instance, that's still there, but the weight of not having a father around creates so many daddy issues that's actually more hurtful to her than actually having that toxic parent. So it's a little different. I tried to only pick one, but to me it really does depend on if it's a male or a female in that instance.
That's when you put it that way, it's kind of, I don't know. I get what you're saying, but I feel like you really didn't make a stance either, honestly. Because I love the fact that you said like men in general, but I think it's kids in general gravitate towards their mothers because they're the nurturers. They're the ones that show you the most love most of the time, and maybe it's the whole like mama's boy, daddy's girl type of thing that you're looking at right now.
That's what I'm. Right. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I think that's more prevalent.
But you know, there's something to say about men or little boys who don't have their dads around and how it affects them, because there's always that wonder, especially after you become a man yourself. Me personally, I can attest to wondering, you know, if I'm out and about, I'm just having fun or whatever, thinking back like, damn, was my dad like this? Did he go out and have fun? How was he with the ladies? Or how was he just in these social situations? It's something that you think about all the time. And then, you know, just wondering that we talk about in the last segment or the last half of like the how much effort somebody put into like trying to see you, and as a man and as a young boy, like, man, my dad didn't even really try, but yet there could have been some extenuating circumstances that made him feel like it wasn't safe for him to try, or it wasn't the best idea for him to do too much, especially back in the day where, like, nowadays I feel like there's really no excuse. You've got social media, you got every avenue to try to be in contact with somebody. Back in the day, you called the phone. If motherfuckers didn't answer or they took the phone off the hook, that was the original block, nigga. You just take the phone off the hook and you can't call no more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I told y'all what happened with my mom's father about literally being threatened never to come back to Cleveland type shit.
Right.
After family moved from Pennsylvania.
Exactly. So. And who knows if somebody was just being emotional that day or what really happened. But you're going to, like Seth had mentioned, or maybe you did, like, you believe your mom's side of the family more. It just that's just how shit happens sometimes. So what's more important, or what hurts less, or what hurts more, a toxic mother or absentee dad? That's really hard, because sometimes an absentee dad is absentee because the mother is toxic. And I think that's something that we're all kind of getting to or alluding to. But I think we all have made sometimes for sure, not all the time. Like no one's saying that. But what hurts more? I think the act of, or the thought of, this person isn't trying hard enough or doesn't want me hurts more than, at least at first, emotionally hurts more than that my mom might be toxic or my dad might be toxic.
Well, don't do it.
I'm not saying it hurts you more in the long run, but at first, and when it comes to your development.
I just want to respond to the first thing you said, because it was in rebut of what I was saying. And the only thing I would say there about, why I was kind of on the fence and why I didn't necessarily pick one about that is because in my mind, the way that I see it is, when we deal with a toxic mother, right? There's bad influences that they bring forth towards the kid, and things like that for both genders, male and female. I feel like when there's not a dad around for the female, it really cripples them more than it does for a male child. But I also feel like for a male child, such as, you can probably relate, BJ, and I'm, taking your perspective. I'm taking, my boys that I grew up with. I'm taking other family members that I have that didn't have a man around. The fact that your dad wasn't there actually made you a really, really strong male. But in the same breath, a lot of times, if a female's dad isn't there, it actually hurts them far more than they can actually recover from. Right? Because a lot of times, if your dad's not there, other people from the family will step up. You'll have this own thing. I'm going to be better than he was. I ain't going to have nobody else feeling the way I feel, blah, blah, blah. But if your mom's toxic, a lot of times those other outside influences don't even get access to you, right? It might just be only her. It might just be driving you like that. So for a male, I feel like that is why it's the mom, but for the female, it's why it's the dad, is because it's different levels of kind of emotional growth or stunting that actually impact by the dad not being there.
So
go ahead, JJ.
I want to answer because I feel like I may scatter off on what you may be about to say. I took this question as if both situations are going on at the same time, and if there's a toxic mother in the house but a father is not there, I personally feel whoever is present the most, in a bad way, will definitely do way more damage. If the father's not there, it's more of it's an empty void, and maybe some guidance that you didn't get, and some questions that are definitely going to be unanswered. However, if a toxic mother is in the household, being controlling, manipulative, putting this extra weight on you that's not necessary, that is your everyday encounter with the world. That is what you create your own filter with. Mm-hmm. And so that to me lets me know, or says to me, like, whoever, what do they say? Whatever your environment or whatever you have contact with all the time, that's what really shapes you. Mm-hmm. That's what's shaping you. If the mother is his mother who
it's like
who's
the person
toxic in her own ways for her whole life.
It's the person who has your
attention the most.
It has your ear.
Yeah.
Like they're feeding
you know what I'm saying? You got to be careful who's next to the king.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those type of things. Like if the mother is the one who can't keep a job, who is blaming everybody but her damn self for everything that's going wrong, or once is being toxic where the father can't be there, therefore being absent. That's all this thing stems from, in this scenario, a toxic mother. So I can never. So I'll say this in my life. My father was in my life. However, he wasn't physically there, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I went to go visit him for holidays and for the summer. There's a large period of time where it's literally only my mother who I'm interacting as my parent. If my mother was a bad person that had been toxic, I could have not fucked with my father's family. I could have had some type of grudge towards my father. Regardless if he was in the right or in the wrong, she could have painted such a picture, it would have fucked me up for life. You know what I'm saying? So whoever is definitely there all the time, if you're good or bad, you are the one that will shape this child regardless of what's not there. What is there is what makes the difference.
I have to agree with that 100%. Sure. I don't think I could have said it better myself. I wish I could just erase my answer and say what JT said. For real, like it just makes it makes all the sense to me. But here's the thing: I was gonna say that BJ said, and it feeds into this culture. You didn't try hard enough. I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear that. Like, ask your mama why I had to try so hard in the first place. Don't ask me why I didn't try so hard. Like, why did I have to try so hard? It's really their discrepancy. You know what I'm saying?
But what if it was because a hypothetical uncle punched you in the face?
Then ask your mom about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but the mom's not toxic though. But the dad's absent.
Okay.
But the mom's not toxic.
But we're talking about fighting so hard though. I'm not talking about like I'm not just saying any reasons to be absent because I don't get down with that either. What I'm saying is that I'm so tired of hearing people say, well, maybe my dad should have tried a little bit harder. I would do anything for my kid. I would try. Well, how about we turn all that energy back to the person who he had to fight against to be in your life? Nobody should have blocked him or her from being in your life. That person's the real culprit, not the person who was dealing with the abusive behavior, dealing with the backlash and everything it took for me for a person. I say me, but a person to be in that child's life. And so when you said it, and the thing is, BJ, you probably weren't even thinking about it. It just came out because that's part of our society. Part of our society is just like,
but I don't think it's necessarily
if somebody takes your kid,
society.
You better fight hard.
It's part of my life and my perspective, right?
But, yeah. Well, like it's part of a lot.
But like I said before, being older, I wish I gave my dad more grace in understanding these situations, right? And the things that you're talking about from your perspective, right? And I know my mom never. I know for a fact my mom never said no, you can't come around and stuff like that. That's not how she's cut. But I do know that she was in situations where maybe my dad didn't feel comfortable coming around, right? Whether it's with other men or whatever it was, it just wasn't. And then, like I said, now everybody has a smartphone. Back then, it's a phone, whatever. But I also know my father didn't have his shit together at some points. He drank. Yeah. He was an alcoholic. He had to get a new liver at one point. So it's not like he was 100 and doing everything. He wasn't no fucking L7 banker nigga like that had his shit together and that was trying to do shit.
But you don't have to have your ish together to be a dad, because a lot of mothers don't have your ish together. If you listen, and that's the liberty of it, right? If you have custody of your child, the liberty of you not having your ish together is that you can lean on your village, right? If you ain't got no money for the night, nobody gonna tell you ain't got your ish together. Take that kid away. They're gonna be like, make some spaghetti and make that last for a week. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to tell you, go to the dollar menu and make it happen? All right, come over, baby. We're going to cook dinner tonight. You can eat over here with us, right? So having your stuff together should not be a prerequisite for seeing your kid. Now that's not your situation, because like you said, your mom didn't keep him away from y'all. But what I'm saying is that I just get so tired of fathers and mothers, the non-custodial parent, being put to this place where you got to fight. Who said that? Who made that up? That you got to fight to be in your kid's life? Like, you know I'm this kid's father, and you know that this is this kid's mother. Like, quit playing games. You can't pick later. After the child is here, you don't get to go back and pick who the parent gonna be. Like, it's done deal. So you got to just deal with it. You got to let that thing go. So this whole fight for it, that's why I just jumped in it because it's like that's one of those things for me. Like when I hear people say that, I'm like, nah. Why do you have to fight? You shouldn't have to. But like you said, I will go with this too. Since you do have to fight, pinch him or something. Swing, pinch him, throw some dirt, something.
And I think maybe that's the frustration, or that's the narrative that's painted. Like, unfortunately, sometimes you do have to fight, and sometimes you get tired of fighting. And there are plenty of good men and good women that have to fight for just like the basic rights of a parent for no fucking reason, just because this other person has more money and they got better lawyers or whatever it is, and now you have to fight and fight and fight and try. And motherfuckers get tired. I get that. Whether it's a man or a woman, it happens on both sides. I've seen it on both sides. I have friends that are women who has kids that they haven't seen because I have a friend that her dude used to whoop her ass, but yet him and his family got custody of the baby because she was putting the baby in jeopardy, even though she was getting her ass whooped. They have more money and they have custody. Like, that is so fucked up. So fucked up, right?
Yeah, but that's common though.
Lopez movie.
That's common though. If you are in an abusive relationship and your kid is in that abusive relationship, you will lose your child because your child's in danger.
Even though that's coming from a parent that's abusing.
Yes,
yep.
It's the most backwards. Yeah,
I know. I saw a case where a woman, and this is so messed up. A woman lost custody of her children because she had to stay in a women's shelter because she was being abused, and so the person who was abusing her, staying in the house, got custody of the kids, and she lost it because she was in a shelter.
Yeah, the custody laws are a whole
it's not
issue, but
well
they're trash.
because it's not about the parent. It's about the best interest of the child. I know it's jacked up, but you're in a situation that's gonna hurt this kid. So, you know,
but that can't be the best interest of the child if the parent is abusive like that.
Yes, it can be, because if he's abusive toward her and not the child, then it's different. That's what I'm saying.
No, but I'm saying, like, you can't separate that.
Yes, you can. You absolutely can. You absolutely can.
JT, think about it like this: if he's only getting abused while the mom is around, but the mom's never around, he doesn't see abuse.
It's only
no. I get what you're trying to say. I can't negate that.
That's the court logic I'm saying.
Yeah, it's only about the child.
If he's beating this woman up, there's literally only a matter of time when he's gonna beat that child.
That's not true.
No,
not necessarily.
The relationships are different.
Depends on what his triggers are.
Dude,
the triggers are relationship and not kids. He won't necessarily.
He could just have an issue with her. He could just have an issue with her, or she have an issue with him, and it has nothing to do with the kid.
Nope.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
It's wrong.
That's why. No, I don't think it's wrong. Yeah. I don't think it's wrong. It hurts. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Well,
however,
I say this: you can't say it's child endangerment if a woman is with a guy and she is getting beat by him, you can't blame her for child endangerment, or just like that's fucked up.
No, that's not child endangerment, though. That's not the basis of the court case.
It's because
it's not about child endangerment, because they don't necessarily see the child is at risk. They see the child at risk if the child's getting beat. If he just sees violence, but the violence isn't there when one party's removed, then you remove those parties and see which actual situation is a better place for the kid to live.
Yeah, because it's not like okay, y'all live together and he's beating her and he gets custody because they live together. It wouldn't make sense. It's a situation usually where it's like violence is happening in this house, and if you're not doing anything to protect the child in this house from that violence, and the other parent can, even though the other parent is the aggressor. I know it sounds messed up, but all they're thinking about is, in what home is this child going to be more safe? That's all they really care about. It ain't about how she did this to him and he did this to her and I don't like her. And they don't care about none of that. When you go in and talk about your relationship, you look like a bitter person. You're probably going to lose that case. Nobody cares about your relationship. It's all about the best interest of the child. It's not a slogan. It's only a slogan for child support, not for the court.
When you think about the shelter, too, you're thinking about a whole bunch of outside variables that you don't have in a household where even if the person was the aggressor, you got other people in the shelter that might abuse the kid. You got kidnapping. You got them going hungry and can't eat. You got all this other shit compared to a household where the actual person never actually beat the child, but he beat somebody else that don't live there no more. The court is going to side that way every time.
Yeah, as long as there's no aggression toward the child, that's all they care about.
Yeah,
because it's trash, but that's the thing though. See, when we talk about this, when we say, listen, can you literally forget about yourself, forget about your emotions toward this other person, and focus only on this child? Can you make the right moves? Can you be in the right mindset to make the best moves for this child? So that means if I'm being abused, like, and it ain't just across the board. If I'm being abused and I take out a restraining order and I do this and I do that and I put all these things in place and I got this fool still running up, you're not about to lose your kid over that. But if you're like, and it's hard because you're one of those people who's like, I love him, I ain't gonna never let him go, and he's beating, like, you're putting him in that situation. I know it's bad. I'm not trying to mock that person because I know leaving a situation is not just that simple.
Easy, right.
But when it comes to that kid,
I was laughing at the song that you was using. That's all.
When it comes to that kid, that's just what it is, man. Like, they want that kid to be safe, and yeah, that's how the court
so what
works.
are we talking about again?
Right.
Beating up
But you knew it was going to go open up all cans of worms.
Which one is worse?
Yeah.
I still go with
shitty. So we all agree they both shitty.
Yeah. They both
they're
trash.
both shitty. But yeah, if that person that's in that child's ear is the one that's spewing lies and creating this false narrative, or even if it's a true narrative but saying things that shouldn't necessarily be said at a young age to a young child, you know what I'm saying, which causes more tension and frustration. Yeah, that's the bad parent. Like,
if you lie to a child, you cheat that child. If you cheat that child, you're killing that child. Just like the saying says, if you lie, you cheat, you steal. If you steal, you kill. And that's what you're doing to a kid. If you're lying to that kid, then
I'm gonna hold on to my belief. If it's a boy, then toxic mother's worth. If it's a girl, I think toxic absentee dad's worse.
I don't know, man. It's
worthless.
It could go either way, honestly.
I get the absentee father for the girl in a sense of, like, now the narrative is that now she's gonna fill her void of a man's presence because she didn't have that father's love, and now she might turn into a hoe or some shit like that. I've seen that play out, but I still
I've hypothetically seen that play out too many times.
I just know. But whoever's right there.
But what about the fact of, like, for a male and not having that dad there, especially if that dad could have been a positive influence?
Absolutely.
What happens when they start looking for that father figure in the wrong areas? You know what I'm saying? How many times have people went out there and joined gangs or started criminal activity or doing whatever, running the streets because they wanted that type of interaction,
that sense of family, that sense of
family, that sense of direction, that sense of brotherhood, or that sense of all of that, because you don't got that daddy at home to, like, hey, sit your ass down. You know what I'm saying? And we say, toxic masculinity, or you don't got that daddy to be like, to punch you in the chest sometimes, right? Or to quit, man the fuck up. And I know man the fuck up is not something that should be said all the time, but man the fuck up means this is life. Breathe, take it in, and keep moving. That's what man the fuck up means, right? And you can even make that shit gender neutral. Woman the fuck up. Buck the fuck up. Whatever you want to do. Human the fuck up. Like, this is life. It's going to be okay.
We fluid out here.
Exactly.
2021, baby.
You know what I'm saying? This is life. This is what we got to do.
Pride month.
But you just keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? I was having a bad day earlier. You know what I did? Talked to my mom for a minute. Talked to somebody else. I might have had a sip or two. He drank up. But then you keep it pushing. This is what we do. We always going to have bad days. You're going to have some good days. You're going to have some great days. But
he'll decline.
But bad days, boy. This is what happens. But sometimes you have to have that person let you know, like, my grandfather used to tell me all the time, this too shall pass. Sometimes you don't have that, and sometimes it comes better coming from a strong man that's made it, that you know have done it, right? As a man, hearing that from my grandfather saying, "This too shall pass," or seeing him work his hands to the bone and taking care of his family, like these are things that made me or make me who I am today. You know, it's one thing my dad wasn't there, but if my grandfather wasn't there too, I probably would have robbed y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally like the shaping of these people. These people shape people, and we can't just like say.
But that was part of my argument, though. Usually, when a man's not there, somebody fills that void for a boy to actually depend on and lean up to, look up to, and stuff like that. But I don't really see a female being able to actually get that same thing from anybody other than their dad. I think that's part of my problem.
I just want to go back to the part where you said you would have robbed me. I don't feel comfortable with that.
I'm just,
it's a possibility. I'm just going to talk about that real quick.
I mean, he is from Flint, so
I want to look past that.
Nice,
I want to look past that.
Upstanding,
you know what I'm saying?
City.
Where we see that kid get shot? Where was that?
I'm gonna talk your ass off the air.
But no, I say this, that even having a man around that may not be the best, but you can actually be able to learn from their mistakes. That means a lot as well.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. Like there's some guys who are fathers who may not be the best examples, but are great examples
of what not to
how
do.
not to be.
Yeah. So that also
it's a lot of things.
That also falls into the individual person as well, right? Either you can follow this lead, or you can say, I see where this got you, so I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do everything the exact opposite of that. So either way, you can go either way. You know.
There's a lot that goes into it. So have a good weekend, y'all.
BJ, you want to send us home?
Indeed. Thank you so much for coming to holler at your boys.
Oh, wait, no, I had some final words. I don't
give a fuck about your final words. Relax. Anyway, Sid, you got some final words?
You know BJ's final words.
Blah, 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 blah.
The final words I have is that just take it. Don't take it lightly if someone asks you to be a part of the village when it comes to help raising a child. Also, if someone asks you to be in their wedding, don't just take it as like a chance to have a photo op. And I got it. I'm bringing it. I'm a preacher. I know how to do it. Don't just take it as a photo op or a place to go and shine. Actually, be a part of that union, so you can be that voice of reason. Like you should be a confidant as well if you're a part of that union. That's where kids should be coming from anyway. And so, just when people appoint you to different things, just don't take it as an arbitrary invite. If they ask you to babysit their kid, be a godparent, or look out for their kid, like take it for what it is, and just be that voice of reason when that mother or that father, when that mother wakes up and say he ain't gonna never see his kid no more, or that father wake up and say, man, I'm done with this, I ain't seeing that kid. Be that voice of reason, instead of just, man, that's crazy, let's go get a drink. Nah, go deeper.
JT,
word. So I would like to thank Lux Road Distillery and Blood Oath No. 5. They don't sponsor us, but I drink it because I like it. And my final words for this episode, and this is Dre, by the way, because BJ's being petty, he wasn't gonna give me a shout out this week. Is one, shout out to everybody that appreciates heavy breathing on the podcast, because you got a lot of it this episode.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mouth breathing ass nigga.
Man, and two, I mean, it can't be overstated, man. Y'all kids need to be the center of y'all lives. You need to put your own fucking ego aside sometimes, to actually do what's right for them. Then that's what you got to do. You got to step up. You can't just talk the talk and then bash people on Facebook because they don't agree with you. No, sometimes you got to fucking shut the fuck up, humble yourself for what's right for the kid. And that's on both sides, all sides. I ain't got no kids, but I done seen this shit way too many times. I done talked to people who lived this shit too many times. I'm connected in a way that I feel comfortable, discussing what people have trusted me with, to know that and to see that we got to do better as a people, especially in the black community, where systemically, our families have been torn apart, and we got to work hard as hell to keep them together. So let's do as good as we can. Be right. Again, I don't have no kids, knock on wood, and I just wanted to say that one more time so I can knock on wood because I don't think I said it last time. But yeah, that's it.
JT?
Yeah, thank you for coming out. We appreciate you. And, we're just going to sign off. So this has been JT.
That's it. This is Dre.
This nigga trying to take co-host
He
power
keep
away.
trying to take it.
Man.
I was going to roll with it, too.
Drink,
I'm ready to go.
You did roll with it.
I know. That's why I said I was ready. That's why I said I was ready to roll with it. I was like, hey, this is it. Let's go.
So do you have a real final word, or are we going to just edit that shit?
I mean, to be honest, no, keep that in there. Keep that in there.
Nothing's getting edited this week.
Absolutely. Except that commercial. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, my God. All 36 of them.
Man,
One take
30
Jake,
minutes
as long
gone.
as they know what they're about.
Let me be the first to tell y'all niggas. Nope.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, today's subject is about parenting, being toxic and being absent. It's an ongoing conversation because humans have this issue about not being able to get shit right, about having the wrong footing, the wrong idea about how things need to go. And a lot of that stems from being selfish. And, I'm not a parent as far as I know. But if I ever do have a kid that's brought to my knowledge, I would fight to be in my child's life, right? But all at the same time, I'm not dealing with no crazy baby mama drama. And if both of you are providing those type of shits, you gotta think about y'all fucking up the kid's life, not just the other person's life, but y'all fucking up the kid. And so if you really care about this kid and the kid is just not some type of bullshit, and for some reason I don't even know this lady, but I keep thinking of China in my head, Rob's baby mama,
Black China.
Yeah, Black China, Black China, cause I would hate for. Gotcha. That what she is. She was. I tell you, it's a horrible to think of holding a kid ransom because you have a personal vendetta. I think that says a lot about you, and that says a lot about what kind of person that you're gonna raise. And what you don't want to do is to be this person raising this child, and this goes for mothers and fathers, raising this child with this certain type of narrative, and then all of a sudden, when the truth is truly revealed, now the child has something against you. Mm-hmm. You've been raising this child all their life, and now all of a sudden they find out X, Y, Z, and now they're looking at you crazy, and now that'll fuck your relationship up. You know what I'm saying?
That shit can backfire.
Their identity of who they are is totally crushed because they built their identity on this world that you created, or this narrative that you created. So now they don't even know who they are anymore.
Yep. So as I say my last words, I just feel like, I just feel like, stop the bullshit. And that's on all sides. Take true accountability, take true inventory of who you are as a parent, toxic and or absent. If you listen to this and you got kids and you're not in touch with them, start doing the work, whatever the work is, you know what I'm saying? And make better calls, be better. Just fucking be better all the way around. Be better. And, God bless you. And like I said, this is JT.
I love it. So,
I will. Well, last thing, real quick, BJ, before you wrap, I just wanted to give a shout out to Andiamo White for the wardrobe. If you would like your apparel worn on the show, just email it to any of us, and we'll be happy to actually wear and support and air for you guys on the show. BJ.
So I want that shirt.
My final thought is going to be, I understand there's two sides to every story. Actually, there's three. There's the truth, the blah 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 in the middle, all that bullshit. But I would like to put on warning, or on focus, and let everybody know that I'm gonna choose drama and violence when it comes to my kids. Okay, so the whole, I'm not gonna. If you want the drama when it comes to that, ignorance. ignorance is what you're gonna get. So if that's not what you want, and you want to have a kid with me, let's just be friends. Let's just make it
now
work.
She's scared.
No, she's
scared.
she's informed. This motherfucker's informed. Let's be friends. Let's make it work.
Whichever motherfucker you are out there,
let's do it right.
You're officially informed, motherfucker.
You're officially informed because I'm gonna choose ignorance. I'm gonna choose petty. I'm gonna choose violence. When it comes down to all that. Knock on wood.
Next day.
Knock on wood.
Plan B.
All of that. I'm pro-choice too, so I'm not saying it has to happen. I'm saying if it does happen, and you want to be on that bullshit,
don't be on that other. I hear you.
I'm gonna match all that energy of you, your uncles, your brothers, your cousins. I'm gonna match all them energies. So, God bless.
You can just serve a notice to appear.
Appreciate you. You know all that. Bless you. Just know that. Bless you. I'm gonna choose all that. Anyway, I'm BJ.
All right. Oh man, let me just dive into it real quick. This is Dre.
This is BJ.
This is it.
And this is JT.
Peace.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.
Let me get up here. Hey, bitch.
Peace.
I'm choosing ignorance, motherfucker. You better understand that. Shit.
He's also choosing a sentence.
I'll roll with the ignorance, but it's gonna be in court.
Y'all motherfuckers ever heard of Patreon? Because I have. And guess what? I want you to fucking support these niggas here. All right? Get your motherfucking credit cards out. Get the motherfucking Google cards out. Get the motherfucking any card you got that got goddamn money on it, and send us some shit.